Keyhole Conversations, folks. We have a special guest with us today, H.B. Berlow, who's just come out with a new novel, Swan Song, and we're going to let him tell you all about how he got his idea for this little novel.
Thanks. Actually,
welcome to the show.
Appreciate you having me. No, thank you for having me. It's always a joy to be with you folks. This is for me a thrill and a joy to have this book come out, largely because it started out as a NaNoWriMo project. And NaNoWriMo is National Novel Writing Month. It was the first one that I entered back in 2007. And the goal was to write 50,000-word novel within the month of November. Well, you write some ideas, and of course I was into crime fiction, so it was easy to come up with the idea. I wrote down the character names and had a rough idea of what the plot was going to be, but at the end of the month you have 50,000 words, but it's not really a novel. That was 2007. I didn't start working on it again until 2008, and I went through at least 6 or 7 drafts. It was still okay, but not where I wanted it to be. I had the impetus to move it forward when I attended the KWA Scene Conference in 2012, because at that point I knew that I was going to be meeting publishers, agents, and editors. So in early 2012, I really got down to the last edit on this. At that time, I met Dan Case from AWOC. He does e-publishing as well as print publishing, and he was impressed with my presentation, and everything was okay then. But I ran into him again at the OWFI conference in May of that year, and he really wanted to take me on. So right after that conference, I sent him the Word doc of the entire manuscript, and it was several months before I heard from him, and we got it going. And the best Christmas present that I probably ever got, with no disrespect to my wife, of course, was to have Dan put it out on Kindle on Christmas Day of 2012. A day later, he came out with it on Barnes & Noble's Nook, and then a couple of days later on Kobo. By the end of the year, it was available as a print book. To have someone publish you, as opposed to self-publishing, to have someone go to this effort on your behalf, this is the mark of what all writers want. Just that one time. This may not win the Pulitzer Prize. This may not be a New York Times bestseller. But somebody showed interest in my work. Serious interest. That's the level of success that I'm looking for. Initially. Of course, down the road we want to sell more, of course. This has been a joy. I am enthused by one concept. One of my favorite writers is Raymond Chandler. Great, hard-boiled writer. He published his very first novel, The Big Sleep, at the age of 51. I beat him by 6 months. So there is success to be found at any point in your life, as long as you keep at it and surround yourself with people. And if you can't surround yourself with people, immerse yourself in people and get to where they are. So I'm really thrilled about this coming out. It is a neo-noir, hard-boiled mystery, crime fiction that takes place right here in Wichita, Kansas, with scenes as north as Hutchinson and as south as Gouda Springs. That's Geuda Springs. If you don't know where that is, Google it. It's got a fascinating history.
Well, congratulations, HB, and I know you're thrilled. It's always a thrill to see your work in print, and you were successful and you worked really hard to do it.
Yes,
as a writer, I know how long it takes to get something ready for publication. My own has gone through 10 different revisions, and that's it. I'm finished with it. Thanks for coming on the show.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. And that's it for Keyhole Conversations. See you next time.